Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We have more gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks to go over. So Silent Hill is back, and not just back, it's absolutely thriving. Konami has confirmed that the Silent Hill 2 remake has now sold over 2.5 million copies worldwide. That's a huge milestone for a series of games that once seemed lost in the fog. And here's the bigger picture. Across all of its titles, the Silent Hill franchise has now officially crossed 10 million units sold in total. For a horror series that's been pretty quiet for a few years, that's a major comeback. And when the remake was first announced, fans were a little bit cautious to say the least. The original Silent Hill 2 from 2001 isn't just another horror game, it's often called one of the greatest psychological horror experiences ever made. So when Konami revealed that Bloober Team, the studio behind The Medium and Layers of Fear, were handling the remake, people weren't sure what to expect. Could they really capture that same eerie emotional atmosphere? Would they stay true to the original story of guilt, trauma and loss? Or would it just turn into another modernized action horror game? Well, once the game launched, those doubts started to fade. The remake not only met expectations, it surpassed them. Critics praised it for staying faithful to the original while still giving it a modern twist. Updated visuals, reworked combat, smoother controls and new mechanics gave players a more immersive way to experience James Sunderland's haunting journey through the fog-covered town. Even though sales slowed down after the initial surge, going from 2 million copies in January to 2.5 million copies now is still a commercial success, and more importantly, it's a critical and creative success. Many fans and reviewers have called it Bloober Team's best work yet. They managed to bring a classic into the modern era without losing what made it special in the first place. That uncomfortable tension, the sense of isolation, and the raw emotional storytelling that sticks with you long after the credits roll. Now here's where things get more exciting, because Konami has confirmed that Bloober Team will also be working on a remake of the original Silent Hill game. The game that started it all is coming back. If they can pull off the same level of care and respect for the first title, we could be witnessing a full-blown revival of one of horror games' most legendary franchises, and it doesn't stop there. Another new game in the series, Silent Hill F, developed by Neobards Entertainment, has also received fantastic feedback following its recent release. It takes the franchise in a slightly different direction, blending eerie storytelling with disturbing imagery and clever survival horror gameplay. Reviewers praised it for its haunting story and clever use of resource management, calling it one of the strongest horror experiences over recent years. It's almost poetic when you think about it. A series that spent so long buried in silence has found its voice again, and players are listening. Silent Hill has always been about more than just scares. It's about fear that comes from within. It's about guilt, grief, and the darkness that we try to hide from ourselves. And somehow, after all of these years, those themes still hit just as hard today. So here's a real question. What makes Silent Hill so timeless? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the storytelling? Or maybe the way it forces you to confront things that you don't want to face? Whatever it is, whatever that successful formula is, fans clearly cannot get enough of it. Konami's renewed focus on the franchise is a promising sign. After years of uncertainty, they finally seem to understand what makes Silent Hill special. It's not just about monsters or jump scares, it's about emotion. It's about storytelling that makes you feel uncomfortable, not just afraid. With the remake's success, the upcoming reimagining of the first game, and new projects like the recently released Silent Hill F, the fog is lifting once again. The town of Silent Hill is calling us back, and this time it feels like it's here to stay. Okay, going from one iconic game franchise to one of the most anticipated games coming to PlayStation. Finally, after all of the waiting, after all of the questions, is it in development? Has it been cancelled? What's going on at the studio? And following on from the second trailer, it's finally starting to hit home. This time next year, it's very likely we will be playing Marvel's Wolverine. The game is now officially available to wishlist on the PlayStation Store. You heard that right, it's finally hitting home. We can go on and actually wishlist Wolverine and bring this game one step closer to finally getting our hands on it. Insomniac Games, the studio that delivered us Marvel's Spider-Man 2, is once again stepping into the Marvel universe, and this time they're diving into something darker, grittier, and a whole lot more violent. Set to release in fall 2026, Marvel's Wolverine promises to be a brutal, character-driven journey. The story follows Logan, also known as James Logan Howlett, a man who's constantly at war with both his past and his nature. In this game, he's on a search for answers, and as you probably guessed, things are going to get pretty bloody. Insomniac isn't pulling any punches here. Expect intense, claw-based combat, the kind where every slash feels heavy and real. We're talking ripping bodies apart, blood sprays, and raw close-up fighting that really captures who Wolverine is at his core. Not just a hero, but a survivor. Now, what's interesting here is how Wolverine fits into the Marvel gaming universe Insomniac has been building. Following on from the success of these Spider-Man games, fans have been wondering, are these stories connected at all? Could we one day see Logan, Peter Parker, Venom, and other Marvel characters cross paths? It's just speculation for now, but hey, you can't help but wonder, right? Will we get a game or a scenario or a situation in a game where all of these characters happen to appear and maybe you can pick any one of them? Liam McIntyre, who you might recognize from Spartacus, will be voicing Wolverine in the game. He'll also encounter some familiar names from the comics. Characters like Mystique and Omega Red are confirmed to make appearances. So it's not just a solo story, it's a deeper dive into the mutant world that fans have been looking forward to for many years. Behind the scenes, there's also been quite a bit of change too. Originally, Brian Horton and Cameron Christian were leading development, but last October, Marcus Smith and Mike Daly, both veterans from Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, stepped in. That kind of shakeup usually signals a new creative direction behind the scenes sometime during the development of the game. So maybe, just maybe, we will see a more grounded, story-focused Wolverine, something cinematic, but still full of that raw energy Insomniac is known for. So yeah, Wolverine is definitely one of the most anticipated PlayStation 5 exclusives, certainly over the last few years, especially following on from its first reveal that everyone is finally going to get to see. And now that it's up for wishlisting, it's official. The hype train has left the station. And speaking of hype, it feels like something big is going to be happening with Astrobot. You might have already seen it, PlayStation-themed football jerseys, collectible figures, and even little accessories popping up in places like Pull & Bear and Walmart. This isn't random, it's part of a bigger plan, one that's meant to make PlayStation more than just a brand, but a bit more of a lifestyle choice. Leading that charge is Steffi Steffen, Sony's Senior Director of Licensed Merchandise. She's been talking about how Sony wants its worlds, its characters, its stories to exist far beyond the games themselves. And one game at the center of all of this is Astrobot. Astrobot isn't just another cute platformer, it's a symbol of PlayStation's creativity, a character that represents fun, innovation, and nostalgia all at once. Astrobot resonates with so many people of all ages and all demographics. It's no wonder it won Game of the Year in 2024. But Stefan says that this is only the beginning. She believes Astrobot has much more potential, not just in games, but across toys, collectibles, lifestyle products, and maybe beyond that. The goal, she says, isn't just to slap a PlayStation logo on anything and call it a day. Instead, Sony is taking a more thoughtful route, building partnerships that feel genuine. They want each collaboration to tell a story, to reflect the heart of each franchise. That's why you see PlayStation teaming up with fashion brands, snack companies, and even live entertainment. These partnerships are about more than selling products, they're about celebrating fandom in everyday life. When people wear, collect, or share PlayStation items, they're not just buying things, they're connecting to something that means a lot to those individuals. Stefan summed it up perfectly, going on to say, before Sony launches anything, they ask themselves, does this bring the story to life? Does it surprise and delight fans? And does it feel true to who PlayStation is? And honestly, that's a pretty good philosophy to have. It's not hard to imagine a future where PlayStation's world expands even further. Maybe Astrobot becomes the next big pop culture icon. After all, with the right creative vision, who knows just how far the little robot can go. I can already imagine cartoons and movies with Astrobot in. It seems to be the direction Sony is going in when it talks about expanding its IP beyond gaming and into other forms of media and entertainment. So let's move on and talk about Battlefield. It's smashed the 7 million mark in just a few days, making it it the biggest game ever launched from Battlefield. But more than that, there is more to come as leaks reveal new modes for Battlefield. EA's latest military shooter just dropped last week, and already fans have been digging through its files looking for what's next, and it looks like something big might be coming. According to a new data mine, 6 more game modes could soon be added to Battlefield 6. Names like Raid, Payload, Sabotage, Squad Shootout, Strike Point, and Tank Hunt have all appeared deep within the game's code. Now, if that's true, we might be looking at some serious variety for players, from squad-based shootouts to massive tank battles and raid-style missions. Some of these, like Strike Point and Sabotage, have already been confirmed. Strike Point is dropping with Season 1 on October the 28th, while Sabotage arrives November the 18th as part of the California Resistance update. But the rest, well, EA hasn't said a word yet. That's led to plenty of speculation that the other modes are currently being tested behind the scenes. Battlefield 6 launched on October the 10th for PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox, and despite mixed expectations, it's absolutely a smash hit, having sold over 7 million copies in just a few days, numbers that rival what you normally see from a Call of Duty launch. It's clear EA wants to make a strong comeback for the Battlefield franchise, and after a few rough years, fans are hungry for that classic only in Battlefield experience, the chaos, the teamwork, the destruction. And these new modes might be exactly what keeps players coming back. But the real question is, can Battlefield 6 keep the momentum going? Can it reclaim its place at the top of the military shooter world? Time will tell, but if these early leaks are any indication, EA might just be preparing to go all in again. Great news from Battlefield 6. Next up, we have some major legal drama between two gaming giants, that is Sony and Tencent. Earlier this year, Sony filed a lawsuit against Tencent, accusing them of copying the Horizon series with their own upcoming game, Light of Motiram. The lawsuit's been heating up, and Sony's latest response pulled no punches. In their new 35-page filing, Sony called Tencent's defense nonsense, accusing the company of playing what they described as a shell game. Basically, Sony says Tencent is trying to dodge responsibility by hiding behind its many subsidiaries and brands. Tencent had argued that Sony claims were premature since Light of Motiram hasn't even been released yet and the launch was pushed back to 2027. But Sony wasn't buying it. They called out this bullshit. They said the damage is already done because the game's been promoted and marketed and fans have already compared it to Horizon. According to Sony, the similarities are undeniable. They argue that Light of Motiram blatantly copies Horizon's design, visuals, and even its protagonist, drawing clear inspiration from Aloy, down to the red hair, outfit details, and even the accessories. Journalists and fans have also pointed this out, calling Tencent's game a Horizon ripoff and a copycat. To make matters even more complicated, Sony says they actually met with Tencent's team before all of this happened, discussing potential collaborations for The Last of Us and even Horizon itself. During those meetings, Sony declined to license Horizon, saying they didn't want to go down that route, but Tencent allegedly went ahead anyway and made something that looked very similar to Horizon. So is this a simple case of inspired by, or is it something more serious? That's for the courts to decide, but it's clear Sony isn't backing down, and with Horizon continuing to expand as a franchise with new games, TV adaptations, and much more, Sony has a lot to protect. This is not just about one game, this is about setting a line, right? Drawing that line about saying, this is ours. You can be inspired, but you cannot copy. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this just looks like a blatant ripoff. If you've seen the images or what's been shown so far of Light of Motiram, it's so obvious that it's been copied from the Horizon set of games. Anyway, let the courts decide. Hopefully Sony wins. So let's move on to a more sober story. The gaming world has lost another legend. This time, Tomonobu Itagaki, the creator of Dead or Alive and founder of Team Ninja, has passed away at the age of 58. Itagaki was known for his strong personality, his trademark sunglasses, and his fierce dedication to his craft. His farewell message posted to his official Facebook page was deeply personal. He wrote that his life had been a series of battles and that he fought hard, stood by his beliefs, and had no regrets. But he also expressed sadness that he couldn't deliver just one more game to his fans. James Mielke A close friend and game developer shared his grief online, calling Itagaki like a brother. Itagaki wasn't just a creator, he was someone who inspired many through his fearless approach to game design. He played a key role in shaping some of the most iconic action games ever made: Dead or Alive, Ninja Gaiden, and Devil's Third. His games were known for their precision, challenge, and unmistakable style. Even up to his final years, Itagaki was still chasing his passion. He launched his own studio, Itagaki Games, and had plans to work with Microsoft again on a new project for next generation consoles. It's hard not to admire someone who lived his art the way he did. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind, to take risks, or to stand apart from the crowd. And maybe that's the best way to remember Itagaki, as a fighter, a visionary, and a man who left his mark on gaming forever. What an incredibly sad few days it's been, losing D'Angelo with his amazing Red Dead Redemption 2 song, Unshaken. And now we've lost Itagaki, one of gaming's legendary creators, of course the creator of Dead or Alive and founder of Team Ninja. Such a tragic loss, and at such a young age too, 51 and 58 for the two that sadly passed away this week. Guys, I didn't mean to finish on a somber note, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the next video.